Good afternoon, I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Welcome to Camnet TV Midday News. The headlines. TIZ BEMOAN weak COVID-19 resource management mechanism. CSO concerned with limited access to food. MDC distances itself from the Patriotic Front PF. Details coming through after this commercial. Msika is here. We have you all covered with just 150 kwacha. You can advertise every day from 17 hours to 18 hours. For a 30-second ad, get the benefit of selling your products and services on Msika. For more details, call our marketing department on +260 953 995099 +260 962 444-726 or +260 971 177 467. Email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply. And now the media news in detail. Transparency International Zambia TIZ has bemoaned the weak tracking and record-keeping system with the COVID-19 response resource management mechanism, in that record from the source to dispensing points are not adequate and not well integrated. TIZ Governance and Democracy Director Gilbert Mwanza notes that integrity weakness, lack of real-time donation capturing and tracking mechanism creates opportunities for falsifying or failure to capture all donations. And speaking earlier at the same event, TIZ Executive Director Maurice Nyambe has advised Zambians to be on the lookout and report any abuse of COVID-19 donations because they are meant to save lives and not be personalized by few individuals.
Transparency International Zambia TIZ has advised members of the public to be alert and report any abuse of the COVID-19 donations because they are meant to save lives. TIZ today, the 16th of October 2020, launched the COVID-19 project findings. The project, which started in July 2020, was effectively an advocacy intervention aimed at ensuring that COVID-19 response in Zambia is anchored on principles of transparency, accountability and integrity at all levels.
So the importance of guarding all resources that are being donated towards this fight cannot be overemphasized, and it is the responsibility of each and every one of us as citizens, as civil society organizations, as the media and as government to see to it that these resources are protected. Protecting COVID-19 resources in fact means saving people's lives, and so in that regard we have a moral obligation to do it.
According to some of the findings during this project, TIZ engagement meeting with the Ministry of Health under the Permanent Secretary Administration and Ministry of Finance under the Accountant General, it revealed that the two ministries were not giving information on specific record of resource management toward the COVID-19 response.
And one issue that was of interest to us was the announcement about the donations that were going towards the response to the pandemic. And our concern was the donations. We know that government resources are the system that manages financial resources, but we were concerned about donations. And so we thought it would be important to ensure that donations are accounted for, donations towards the response go to the intended purpose. And for that reason, we came up with a project that supports this event that we're having today, to specifically track the donations that are going to this response, but also the utilization of those donations.
TIZ has since urged government to put up a donation tracking record-keeping system into the resource management mechanism that will ensure that COVID-19 donations are recorded at both points of receipt and dispensing of the same, as it will easily track donations through the distribution channel. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
In other news, Civil Society Scaling Up Nutrition Alliance Country Coordinator Matthews Muhuru says the society is concerned with an increase in the number of people going hungry due to the limited access to food caused by different factors. Mr. Muhuru explains that the CSO believes that making the food system more sustainable and shock resilient is one way of making food available to vulnerable people. He says this will, however, require the focus shift from maize-centered to diversified crops production that respond to change in different climate conditions. He has urged the government to focus on crops that respond well in different parts of the country during the 2020-2021 farming season, as this will not only guarantee food security but also respond to dietary needs of the country. Zambia joined the rest of the world in commemorating World Food Day.
As Zambia joins the rest of the world to commemorate World Food Day today, 16th of October 2020, which marks actually the 75th World Food Day celebration, we are making a call to government to really see how they can come in and support the vulnerable. So this year's theme speaks to growth, nourishment, as well as sustaining together. The focus is on the vulnerable people and just trying to see how they can be removed from that vulnerable situation. So for us as a Civil Society Scaling Up Nutrition Alliance, we're making a call to government to consider, providing seeds and just agricultural support that really responds to the needs of the different areas. We are aware that our country, some parts are affected by floods, some parts are affected by drought, some parts are affected by locusts. But how can we have an agricultural system that really responds to all those shocks? We're also making a call to government to extend extension services to especially the places that are not doing well in terms of agriculture, that have received different shocks and vulnerability, so that the people in those areas are not left food insecure, but they can be supported to be food and nutrition secure.
Movement for Democratic Change MDC has distanced itself from sentiments that it has been formed to be a proxy of the Patriotic Front PF with the purpose of dividing the 2021 votes. MDC Secretary General Lucky Mulusa says the party is independent with values that are different from the PF and other political parties. Speaking during a press briefing in Lusaka, Mr. Mulusa disclosed that the MDC party is a group of individuals who participate in the governance system under the PF and were booted out for speaking the truth while others resigned. He adds that the party is confident of forming government in 2021 despite the short period between the launch of the party and the holding of the 2021 polls. Meanwhile, the SG has announced the appointment of few individuals to the party leadership structure. These include Mutolo Piri as Chief of Staff and the President's Office, Chris Banda as Treasurer, and Sam Moyo as National Chairperson.
The MDC has been formed not to fight any other political party. We are not fighting any other political party. All we are doing is we are trying to resolve the problem of why 5 million people, half of our eligible voters, do not participate in elections. Meritocracy in leadership, we are going to make sure that no single cabinet minister will be there on account of bootlicking. We are going to make sure that every single cabinet minister qualifies to be in that job, just like it is in the private sector. We're not going to compromise on that. And even ourselves, as you sit there, when you look at where we are coming from, we are people who rose to prominence out of meritocracy. The other one is the transparency, accountability, and zero tolerance to corruption. Corruption is very costly. The best example you can take is that of the fire tenders. The fire tenders were bought at $1 million. But insured at $250,000 US. It means that that is the true cost. What this means is that almost every government project is 4 times overpriced, meaning that even this infrastructure that we rolled out, it could have been 4 times. The economy would have had its reproductive capacity grown, meaning that the economy would have been able to repay the loans. But now we are unable to repay the loans because 3/4 of the expenditure never went to the project.
Movement for Promoting National Value and Principles Chief Executive Officer Joseph Kunda has urged Zambians not to allow bitterness take over their emotions regarding Chishimba Kambwili's conviction. Mr. Kunda says the judicial system is an independent organ of the government which needs to be respected on the sentence it has passed, and the conviction must not be a debate put in public domain. He says inasmuch as he sympathizes with Dr. Kambwili's family and party members, Zambians must realize that Mr. Kambwili still has an opportunity to be set free if his appeal goes through. Mr. Kambwili's bail application is set for Tuesday next week. The NDC leader has so far spent 2 days in detention following his 1-year jailing by Magistrate David Simsamba.
Of course, I feel so bad, and when I learned about this matter, I shed tears, and I sympathize with his closest family members and his loyal supporters and members of the general public who felt aggrieved. But I wish to state this, that we need to respect the judiciary because it is an independent organ of the government. And when a decision is made by the judiciary, we should not politicize the matter. Neither should we allow such a decision to become a political debate that should be in public domain. For those who feel aggrieved, and especially those who are closer to the leader who is in incarceration, I wish to remind them of what was stated by the State Counsel, Musa Mwenye, at the court soon after the judgment was pronounced, that after confiding in the leader, President Kambwili, a resolve was made that a bail application would be initiated. That being the case, it remains the jurisdiction of the court to exercise its leniency by considering the request that is being made by the convicted leader. It is therefore not incumbent upon all of us to make comments over a matter that is still active before court. We want to respect the judiciary in our country, and let's not allow sentiments, emotions, feelings, bitterness, anger, resentment, remorsiveness to entangle and engulf our thinking faculties. May we recognize the authority in our country by respecting the authority of the court. And if at all we feel aggrieved, there is a proper channel in which we might launch that. And that being the case, may we not allow a case that was decided by the court to disturb the National Day of Prayer.
Well, that news item brings us to the end of Camnet TV Midday News, but before we go, the headlines once again. TIZ BEMOAN weak COVID-19 resource management mechanism. CSO concerned with limited access to food. MDC distances itself from the Patriotic Front, PF. Thank you for joining me. Make a date with us this evening on our main news desk at 19:30, and also connect with us on social media, Camnet TV on Facebook and Camnet TV Africa on Instagram. I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Have a beautiful afternoon.